Okay, good morning and welcome to ABS Sports Plus this beautiful Tuesday morning. My name is Daniel, and in the studios I have a very wonderful sports analyst. How I wish he played this game, it would have been more beautiful. But he's an analyst, and you're welcome to ABS Sports Plus.
Yeah, good morning. I actually do play.
You always play this game although football is football, whether you play it at the backyard or
No, I don't play backyard football.
even at the front yard, all of them are ball you play. Sha.
Nah, no problem.
Okay, this Tuesday morning we'll have a lot of sports stories and we'll be picking some of the highlights that is very, very interesting and things that has made up in the weekends and weekend from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A lot of activities was on. And to start with our story this beautiful morning, it was a very, very exciting and a very joyous atmosphere at Remo Star Ikene Institute when the Remo Stars won the Nigerian Premier Football League title. And this is the first time after 25 years that a Southwestern club is winning this title. And Remo Stars won this title. They were 68 points ahead, you know. And Rivers United was following them up, but they couldn't because they lost their game. And Remo Stars won their game against Niger Tornadoes on Sunday, and that gave them the victory. Ogumodede, who is the head coach and assistant coach to the Super Eagles, was in a very, very joyous mood. Remo Stars winning the title. Obina, what's your... I hope you're feeling the happiness as well with them.
Of course, it's a great development for them. I'm not basically a fan of Remo Stars, but
why?
Well, we have Rangers, we have Imba, we have the Warriors, we have even the Solution FC. We have lots of them right there. So it's not about probably sectionalism, but it's more of
where your emotions are.
Yeah, I got my support for these clubs. All right. So talking about Remo Stars, they've done a lot for themselves over the past few years. I think a club that was that began their journey sometime, I think 2010. I cannot remember the specific date. And then over the years, they've been able to start from the NNL and move to the NPFL. They've been trying to write their names, they've been doing a lot for themselves. The coach Ogumodede finishing second a couple of times or 3 times, and now finally clinching the trophy for Remo Stars. So it's a great one. Then you have to also give kudos to the management, how much they've invested in the club. I believe their stadium right there in Ikene, Ogun State, is the only stadium that actually does have these what's it called? It's not the billboard, but they've got these digital boards where they run. I'm trying to get them.
It's an institute.
Yes. Yeah,
you remember that's where the Falcon, everybody is now going over to play.
It's the only stadium currently in Nigeria with that, and you see the management, they are so intentional how they invest in the club. Good management, good payment, and all that. So these are the things clubs need in Nigeria. And of course, they are going to receive a reasonable amount of money from the NPFL, about 210 million naira. So that's plenty money that the club can also again reinvest into the club, and of course, if possible, get to sign top players, get to sign quality players, and I hope this time it is long-lived. I hope it's not something that is not going to happen like the Ifa Yuba, and many other clubs that
has come and gone.
That has shown for a very short time.
But what do you actually think is the problem? Okay, let's take for instance Southeast here, where we don't have an institute, a sports institute, which would have helped in grooming not only players, grooming like referees, grooming, have an institute that is encompassing. Up to this moment in Southeast, we don't have things like that to help us, grow the level of football. Because when you look at the youths around the Southeast, they have a lot of talents. We have these talents, raw talents, that need to be excavated.
It would be unfair to say that they've not been intentions or efforts to actually train youngsters and all that. Very recently, for example, in Anambra State, you could see some efforts on part of the government.
Yeah, definitely, we've seen
a number of sub stadiums, township stadiums here and there, and
But that Remo Star is a
private run club.
That's the only one.
That's I think at a point we used to have football. Apart from that, very recently, in recent times, probably in the past 10 years, we've seen private individuals sponsoring sporting activities.
But they didn't last long.
Yes, not just Ifeanyi. We used to have football competitions being sponsored by Neros, right there in Nanka, and many other sporting activities.
But we don't have the institute where
that's what I'm saying. If it's some of the things that may be lacking, and it's a call on the private, and you also have to understand that funding is also a very major problem.
One thing I think that should be done is there should be this parley between the private sector and the government, so that you can create an enabling environment for them to come home, like the governor of Anambra State is doing. Creating an enabling environment to let people come home. Let's invest. Bring out some of the aspects where you want people to invest in. Do you understand? We'll take a Remo style, look at Ikorodu City. These are on the Nigerian Premier Football League. These clubs are there. And these are private-owned football clubs, not even Lagos State, not even Ogun State. These are private-owned. And you could see how they are thriving. Now, a private-owned club has won the title.
We have to, like I said earlier, it would be unfair to say, probably they're not doing much, but we must, see that there are efforts. For example, we're looking at what Enugu State, the state government is doing for Enugu Rangers. We see in Abia State for what the government is doing for both Abia Warriors and Anambra, and then efforts made by the Imo State government to make sure that Heartland actually
bounced back and changed a lot of things.
And also played in the MPFL. So, of course, it is never enough till it gets to that point whereby, we bring stability and we bring longevity into the sports.
Exactly.
So that's when we can now say, they've done enough. So we wouldn't want to say private individuals may do it probably as a side hustle or something, because they cannot. Football, especially around here, is something that consumes lots of will I say capital, consumes lots of money, and with very little or no financial.
It's a long-term process. Yeah, it's not something you go in immediately and you said, okay, I know how much I'm going to make. So it has to be a long-term process.
So it's just what would happen is for individuals. Especially we have in fact we have persons, smart persons who've played for the Super Eagles, who've got the experience, coming back, bringing in the right management, and like you said, support from the various government from the major 5 southeastern states and other states.
Good. That's because
invest properly. And
whenever we want to do coaches training and stuff, it's either they go to Lagos or Abuja. Now, we don't have an institute. We should, the 5 Eastern governors should look at it. These are, because you look at sporting activities, chairman of all sporting activities, you mostly, you find us sparingly in heading some of it, because maybe we do not find enthusiasm in it. But this is one of the things where sports is a very, very lucrative business, where people should always find solace in. And that's why we're saying we need to have this institute. One man came out, built Remo Stars, gave Remo Star an institute, and you know, and it grew to now you could see them now they're going for the African Champions Cup now. A lot of things are there. It is having the vision, having a mission as well. These two things work together. You have the vision and you have the mission to accomplish. And this is what Remo Star has done. So I think we in the South is like the governor of Anambra is really seriously could see the Fun City where he has built, revamping the stadium as well. So these are the things we should look into, you know, as a region as well, you know, to have an institute so that our own coaches, there are young guys, like the way we have vocational schools, you should be part of it. Have an institute of sports as well in one of the southeastern states. I think it's going to help us groom the right players, have the right sense of play. You will see the level of players and coaches, referees that will be coming out from the region. You understand? So I think it's high time we look into it. All right, we're still on ABS Talking Sports this beautiful Tuesday morning. Away from the excitement at Remo Star Ikene, the much anticipated match between Nigeria and Russia is designated to hold on June 6th at the Lunsky Stadium at Moscow. Now, we have not really, NFF have not really come on board to tell us who playing this friendly game with the Russians is not going to affect our relationship with FIFA. Because we know that Russia has been banned, or I don't know if they have been unbanned. But this is a high-profile game that will really, shapen the team. Not just shaping, giving us, giving the Eric Chell's team the rifle mentality, most of the things to expect if eventually we qualify for the World Cup. And it's going to bring a lot of synergy. What do you see to it?
Of course, friendlies of this nature, I won't know if this is going to be a grade A friendly or a grade B friendly or the grade of friendly this is going to be, but occasionally we should have friendlies to test the probably the tactical capability of not just the coach but of the players and all that. So looking at, I do not think it's going to affect will I say the
relationship with FIFA?
The relationship with FIFA and other countries or something like that, because I believe before the NFF has accepted to have this happen, they should have, although of course we know the Nigerian thing, they should have thought it through. They should have investigated a lot behind. They should have investigated a lot behind the scene. They should have done a lot to make sure that this is not going to cause any kind of ruckus, not just with Nigeria but with other, for other countries in terms of international relations. Whatever happens, we hope it's going to be a scintillating performance, because these talks, it has always been there. Like I think since last year, there were talks of playing Russia and all that. So we hope at the end of the day, that this is a scintillating performance. And then also on the Russian part, of course, they've not been playing international football for a long time. They seem to have been blacklisted from the whole world. Yeah. Not watching the league in Russia. Do not know how CSKA Moscow is faring. We don't know how Spartak Moscow is faring. We don't know how some of the other
Zenit and Co.
Petersburg, and many of the Russian clubs. How so probably this will be a game to probably the Russians will want to prove that in as much as the world stopped watching them, that they didn't stop growing, that the quality of the football they've always had, probably over the past few years since the blacklisting, it has actually been quality.
Okay.
That's what they're coming to us.
Okay. All right, let's see how the friendly game is going to go. But one of the things we have to take at it is that one is going to show more in-depth knowledge of our coach, see the tactical formations that he desires to play, see the level of players that we need for our September qualification. And also remember that not just playing, we also have a four-way tournament that is coming next month, May, where Nigeria will be playing against Ghana, Jamaica, and one other country. These three countries will be playing. Jamaica, Ghana, Nigeria will be playing this game. And it's going to be a very lovely one. Well, away from that, Nigerian Flying Eagles will on Thursday kick off their quest for their 8th crown at the just started Under-20 African Cup of Nations. The Flying Eagles qualified and they are live now at at Egypt, where the tournament is ongoing. Nigeria is seeded against Tunisia, Morocco, Kenya. These are the teams we'll be playing against. And on Thursday, Nigeria will be slugging it out against Tunisia, the Eagles of Tunisia. And Aliou Zubaru's team is saying they are well prepared. Remember that they won their friendly games last week against Egypt, scoring 2 goals. The game ended in favor of the Flying Eagles. Now, 7 times champion, the 8th one now. Do you see Nigerian Flying Eagles coming back home with the crown?
Let's see what happens. You know, in recent times they've really struggled. You know, they really struggled both continentally and intercontinentally. You know, both talking about the World Cup and the 20 World Cup. I think the last time they finished at the round of 16 or the quarterfinals. They really struggled. The last time we got to the final was the team led by the man John Mikel Obi, likes of Taiwo, and
they finished with silver medal against Argentina.
Yeah, against Argentina. So since then we've really struggled. So let's see what happens. You know, we hope that the NFF is putting everything on board. We don't want to hear situations whereby the coaches, the management are talking about not being paid.
The players
are talking about not being paid.
Their allowances.
So these things will always happen. These things will always affect the psyche. Because sometimes we say, I play it of passion. No, nowadays things are really very difficult. Not just in Nigeria, but globally. So passion, if you want to get the best out of someone's passion, you have to tie to it financial benefits or other benefits, but mostly financial. When I'm playing and I have in mind that everything about this game is sorted out, my finances has been sorted out, the monies or whatever, all my remunerations have been sorted out. I believe I will not worry. I will concentrate on the game. I will concentrate on the game at hand and get the best result. But when I'm playing and I'm not sure that my remuneration is not going to be sorted out, and you're just telling me to play a game of passion, just play a game so that I'll be noticed, then it will not. I doubt if anything will happen. So that's just it. So we hope that the NFF has done everything possible. Everything's very coach, the allowances, everything psychologically, mentally, make sure that
because I know finances bring a very psychology. Once you know that this is on ground and everything is.
Once you know that nothing going to, you just play. They make you understand. Just play. That's something these top teams have always done. The clubs, the big countries, they try to make sure. They try to make sure that their players concentrate on just winning games, And if at the end of the day they don't win the games, they just give themselves they pat themselves on the shoulder, on the head to say, we tried everything possible. It just did not work.
Okay. All right, away from that story, the under-17 girls of, that's a Nigerian under-17 team, Flamingos, have qualified for the Women's World Cup coming up from October to November 5th, October 18th to November 5th this year, after winning their game against the Algerian ladies. Their counterpart, they played 4-0 at Ikene Stadium and traveled to Birda in Algeria, where the game ended goalless. And that really automatically took the Flamingos to the World Cup. These ladies, remember 2002, they were the bronze winning medal in the world. And now they've qualified for another World Cup qualification that is coming up now, World Cup final that is coming up now. How do you see these ladies being tutored by Bankole Olowukere?
Over the past few tournaments, the under-7, the ladies, their age grade football, that has actually been impressive. They've really shown courage. They've really shown, not just dedicatedness, but they've really shown good results. So this is not going to be. We hope this is not going to be anything different. We hope that they go dominant.
And let me help you. Another thing again I appreciate is that the consistency of the players. The coach has been using this particular level of ladies, and he keeps giving them that courage, that confidence to play. I think that is one thing we must always inculcate, both in the national team and except when you find out that one or two players are not living up to expectation or something, maybe you now introduce. But the aspect of every time in the game, you want to bring in a new set of people
players and
when the ones you have not really integrated in the game.
It's also a good one when you know your players, when you know the quality you have. You are very well connected. You're very well connected with the you're very well connected with their abilities, what they can or what they cannot do, what they can bring to the game or something. It is really very good on the part of the coach. But like I said earlier, these ladies, when it comes to age grade women's football and their competitions, even in basketball and some other competitions, we see that the women have really dominated. Well, they tend to have brought in, good results, better results than their male counterparts. Exactly. For example, the women, they won more AFCON than the men. Yeah. They've probably aside the World Cup, but even the Olympics and other competitions, you see that women have really shown some people say it's because they're women, but the things that they
are more dedicated.
Yes,
it's dedication.
Yeah, apart from dedication, they've brought in more results. They brought in more results.
That is the dedication that brings
they brought in more results.
Yeah.
So it's something that is quite impressive. So let's see how all happens, and we hope that they do not fall short of the expectations.
Definitely.
That they do Nigeria proud.
Okay, away from the Flamingos, straight to Nigerian-American boxer Emeka Nwokolo defend his title in the American boxing welterweight champion, where this guy has won 7 times straight titles, and now he defeated his opponent by knocking his opponent out in the second round of the game. This guy is talented. Emeka Nwokolo, very, very talented, and I wonder why we keep having boxers here and there, but it's always very difficult for us to. It's been a very long time. It's very long time.
It's not just. Although recently we have the likes of, I think, the Agbaja guy and a few other boxers who are well renowned, probably kickboxers.
Joshua is just.
So, but
our kickboxers, all of them are all down.
Yeah, so
they've lost all their titles. They are all down.
So
I don't know if it is the same factor.
So
that once you win a title, the next one becomes an issue.
If you win a title, you do not expect that you hold it forever.
That's
because
the thing.
People are willing to take that from you. They have a problem. You can't keep it for long, except you're that extraordinary, and you can't take it. You can't take it till you die, except again you're extraordinary. So it all boils down to we're talking about what's happening in the Southeast, where we do not have institutes and so it all boils down to the Nigerian factor, where we are not willing to invest a lot in
sports,
in sports in general, and not just sports in general, but also grassroots development.
Yes, grassroots
development. Even when we invest in them, we see the rascally treatment we give to it. We have issues with maintaining it. We have issues with growing them. So a lot of things are actually distorted. So these are the major issues. And then when players get to a certain, because we've grown lots of young athletes. We've had games where we see even the Choma Junwa that is really very popular. It was true grassroots games, the police games, and many of them true grassroots. But when it gets to the point where we have to now nurture them better, we have to now give them that room to expand. We tend to want to now stunt what we've grown, and now what these people do is. They tend to go to where they will be best, where their talent will be best appreciated.
Yes, exactly.
So when you go to America, whereby they're willing to even give you a certain class of visa, because they're willing to give you a certain class of visa, an enabling environment,
give you scholarships and all those things.
Simply because you're good in this type of sport. Yes. People go there when you go to other countries. I won't say Europe, because Europe is more like recently closing their doors to some of these development, but we've seen most of our players, quality players.
Gloria Alozie, who won 100 meters hurdle in 92, 93, then had to leave because one of his fiancée, who also was an athlete of Nigeria, had an accident in Spain, died then. And the situation was not properly handled. And she left.
So we see most of our even in football, we see most of our players. And it's not just the fact, it's not just in football. So it's general, like most of it's a problem. You know, we were just talking about this morning during the newspaper reviews, and we're just talking about the fact that sometimes an average Nigerian wants to make things difficult for the other Nigerian. And when you're trying to tell them, oh, don't do this, they'll tell you, oh, this is how I got here. This is how we have been doing it. Meanwhile, it's not always, it should not always be that way.
Is it, yeah.
So it boils down to everything. So in sport development, we have to invest more. We have to be intentional. I always use the word intentional, not negative, but positively intentional. We have to understand that if these people grow, sports in Nigeria will grow, and we as Nigerians will benefit from it.
Exactly.
Because it will attract a lot in terms of money, in terms of investment, in terms of see what's happening to Victor Osimhen now. Reports have it that big clubs are not willing to pay him a certain amount of money. Why? Because he's an African or something like that. We do not know how true it is, but these are rumors. Yeah, and of course, every rumors...
There might be an atom of truth.
Yeah. So that's the point. So we need to invest in, so that because when we probably even invest in our sport and things we do, our players, our persons will know that anything that happens, I've got my people backing me, and that can actually take care of me. Exactly. But when your people are not backing you, and your people in return cannot even take care of you, you have to now bend to whatever whims and caprices you see outside there just to survive.
All right, we're still on ABS Sports Plus this beautiful Tuesday morning. Bukayo Saka has agreed a long-term contract with Arsenal. Bukayo Saka is one of the Arsenal's leather weapon, and this young lad has 2 more years remaining on his contract, but has agreed for an extension that will keep him in Emirates Stadium for a very, very long time. I want to say very big kudos to Bukayo Saka. And today, Arsenal will be facing PSG on the highly anticipated Champions League first leg at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal against PSG. Luis Enrique against his former boy, Mikel Arteta. How do you see this game is going to go today?
Yeah, a big statement for both teams. PSG have struggled in the Champions League. Arsenal, the last time they were in I think the last time they got themselves in this part of the UEFA Champions League was way back as I think 2006. 2006. Final
against
Barcelona. So both teams have a very big statement to make. They would want to show that something for PSG, something they couldn't do with Messi, something they couldn't do with Mbappe and Cavani and Ibrahimovic and the rest. Now they are doing it with very young players, and now with Luis Enrique from then Arsenal too.
Now doesn't it baffle you how Arsenal got to where they are today?
They played too well. They played too well.
Strikers.
They played too well. Arsenal played so well. But they played so well in the Champions League. Very recently against Real Madrid, you could see how they brought in their A game. They won both legs. It's not a situation whereby they won at home, then drew at Real Madrid. So they brought in their A game, brilliant. It wasn't a game of luck whereby they were lucky. You could see how they play you. You could see how they went really hard. They deserved the victory and all that. So that's nothing about luck or whatever.
So
they've just played so well.
What do you think the scoreline is going to look like today?
I wouldn't know, but I'm having this soft spot for Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope that they get probably a 1-0 win, a 2-1 victory. Yeah.
Okay. All right, away from that stories, let's get our finger crossed and see how the games will go today at Emirates Stadium this evening. Okay, NFF, Arthur Okonkwo is on NFF radar to bring him in as a second keeper or as a keeper to to compete with Stanley Nwabali. And Arthur Okonkwo is a Nigerian former Arsenal player, but now with Wrexham in the Championship, they just gained promotion to the Championship. And bringing in this young man whom has been waiting for England but has not. But although he has played some of the England's youth game, and now NFF wants to bring him on board. What do you think about it?
Of course, it's nice to bring in top quality, bring in competition, so that Nwabali doesn't feel so relaxed. You know, going to the World Cup, you have to feel threatened so that you stay at the top of your game, so that people don't. So it's what it should be. Just like in other positions in the Super Eagles, everyone is competing and all that. So a great one for the Super Eagles, the NFF, trying to get him. But again, we must grow our own players. We mustn't always wait for other countries to train our players for us or something. So we must invest. We must try our best possible to bring in those playing locally and all that into the team. So this is really very important. But kudos to the NFF. Kudos to Otto. He's really done so well for Wrexham this season. Considering I think barely had about 18 clean sheets.
Yeah, 18 clean sheets.
In more than 10. So top level performance for him.
Exactly, that's a top level performance. All right, that's where we'll be drawing the curtain close on ABS Sports Plus this beautiful Tuesday morning. Hope you enjoyed yourself this and good morning, Anambra and ABS Sports Plus. Obina, is nice having you.
Yeah, always nice coming around.
Thank you very much. All right, my name is still Sacramento, and this is where I draw the curtain close.